Who built the pyramids? In this video, we're going to dig into the latest discoveries regarding who actually built these structures, and what we uncover might surprise you. Join us as we continue to explore ancient Egypt and uncover fascinating secrets from our past. Ancient Egypt was a period of great wealth and prosperity, and it produced many well-known monuments, one of which are the pyramids. The 3 pyramids at Giza are among the most famous buildings in the world and have survived for thousands of years. However, even though they are so popular today, very little is known about their construction. There are lots of questions about the pyramids that still haven't been answered, such as how were the giant stones moved and lifted? How? And who decided to build them? But recently, a team of researchers may have just answered one of these long-standing questions. They believe they know who built the pyramids. But before we jump into the video, make sure you hit that like button. Without further ado, let's begin. Ancient Egyptian pyramids are huge stone structures with a sloping side and a square base that come to a point at the top. These enormous monuments are all located in Egypt, and while some are quite small, others tower over 450 feet above the ground. It's estimated that around 100 pyramids were constructed during the Old and Middle Kingdoms. But sadly, only a few remain today. Most of these pyramids were built as tombs for the pharaohs or kings of Egypt. Inside the pyramid would be a burial chamber, where treasures and offerings for the deceased ruler could be stored. This means that whoever built the pyramids likely had access to the latest technology and knowledge of mathematics. As mentioned earlier, the pyramids have stood the test of time, but that doesn't mean that they haven't suffered any damage. Over the years, several people have tried to enter the pyramids, and many of them caused a lot of damage in the process. For example, Napoleon's soldiers used explosives, to open up a part of the Great Pyramid in 1798. This caused significant damage to the structure and removed some of the outer casing stones. Then in the 19th century, he began taking the stones from the pyramids to use in building projects in Cairo. Fortunately, this practice has since stopped. However, there are still plenty of theories as to who built these incredible structures. One of the more popular theories is that slaves built the pyramids. According to this theory, a large number of slaves were forced to work on the pyramids, and many died as a result. There is some evidence to support this claim, such as the fact that many people lived near the pyramids who were considered outcasts of society. Also, archaeologists have found evidence that some of the workers' villages were abandoned around the time that the pyramids were being built. Another piece of evidence comes from a letter written by an ancient Greek historian named Herodotus. He wrote that the second largest pyramid took 20 years to build, and that during that time, 100,000 men were working on it. However, Herodotus also claimed that the Egyptians set aside all other work to focus on building the pyramids. This isn't very believable, as there is no evidence that other building projects stopped during the construction of the pyramids. Another problem with this theory is that no mass graves have been found anywhere near the pyramids. If 100,000 people really did die while building them, then there should be evidence of that. Another theory is that the pyramids were built by a group of highly skilled architects and engineers. According to this theory, these people worked together to design and construct the pyramids without the use of slaves. Some people believe that this group was led by a man named Imhotep, who is said to be buried inside the Pyramid of Djoser. But this isn't likely either, because if he was the mastermind behind the pyramids, his name would be a lot more well-known today. Unfortunately, there's no solid evidence to support either of these theories. So who really built the pyramids? A new study suggests that the pyramids were built by an elite military force known as the Boundary Breakers. According to researcher Sarah Parkek, these were special forces soldiers who were tasked with protecting Egypt's borders. She believes that they chose to build the pyramids as a way of giving back to the state. Her reasoning is that these pyramids were built along the borders of Egypt. For example, the Red Pyramid is located near the city of Dashur, which was once the capital of Egypt. Meanwhile, the Bent Pyramid is situated close to the Libyan desert, which was a major trade route. It's not only that, but these pyramids are aligned with important stars. According to Park, the Boundary Breakers used this skill to navigate the country and protect its borders. She also thinks that the pyramids were a way for the Boundary Breakers to show their strength and power. By building these structures, they could impress the pharaoh and the rest of the population. and this would have given them a lot of respect and admiration. There is some evidence to support this claim, such as the fact that the pyramids were built during a time when Egypt was at peace. This means that the boundary breakers didn't need to go on many missions, so they had a lot of free time. Additionally, archaeologists have found evidence that the boundary breakers lived in camps while they were building the pyramids. Lastly, recent research suggests that the boundary breakers were highly skilled builders. They knew how to use advanced tools and techniques to construct large buildings and other structures. Another piece of evidence that supports this claim is a group of tombs that were discovered near the Great Pyramid. The tombs date back to the 4th dynasty, and they contain the remains of several boundary breakers. One of the tombs even contains the remains of a woman who held a high rank in the military. According to researcher Zahi Hawass, the discovery of these tombs suggests that the boundary breakers played an important role in building the pyramids. He believes that the elite soldiers were in charge of planning and constructing the structures, while the regular soldiers did most of the labor. So what do you think? Is this really the answer to who built the pyramids? Let me know in the comments below. I personally find this to be a pretty interesting theory, especially considering that we don't have much evidence to go off of. This is definitely one of the more plausible theories that I've heard so far. But I guess we'll never really know for sure unless we find some more evidence. Speaking of evidence, scientists recently made another interesting discovery about the pyramids. Researchers used advanced technology to scan the inside of the Great Pyramid, and they found some pretty surprising results. The pyramid is hollow, which nobody expected. Nobody's ever been able to explore the inside of the pyramid because it's too dangerous. So scientists used non-invasive technology to take a look inside. They made some small holes in the outer casing of the pyramid and inserted various devices to measure things like temperature and humidity. Using this data, they were able to create a 3D model of the interior of the pyramid. What they found was shocking. The pyramid is hollow, and there's a large chamber in the center. This discovery suggests that the pyramid may not have been used as a tomb after all. Instead, it may have been used as a temple or a place of worship. Some people even believe that the chamber could contain the Ark of the Covenant, but this is obviously just a theory. Regardless, this discovery raises a lot of questions about how the pyramid was built. If it's hollow, then how were the stones lifted into place? And what was the purpose of the chamber? These are just some of the many questions that scientists hope to answer in the coming years. They plan to continue exploring the pyramid using advanced technology in order to learn more about its construction and history. Hopefully, they'll be able to uncover more evidence that will help us understand who really built the pyramids. Thanks for watching. What do you think about this latest discovery? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that like button. See you next time.